YouTubers, this is your cameraman, Dave Dusky, for today's new update video for January 10, 2023. The last update video I was here was on January 3rd, which is on last Tuesday, and I showed you, like, I have a lot of Disney Snow White items. I got it from the book sale last week. And now, for this week, before we start, I got something to tell you. Bridges and tunnels in New York, it went up from 12, 13 bucks, went up to about $14, $15. Who knows? I told you about that in my previous other update videos. And I saw something on YouTube I didn't like about things going on in New York. It's shoplifting in supermarkets and retail stores. Just like months ago, they were shoplifting in pharmacies. Yep, all over Manhattan. Now they're doing it in Queens with shoplifting the foods because they don't have no money, and I think they're selling it. Or maybe the chain of the supermarket owners, they fed up with those shoplifters. They have to put up like a security guard, more police. They're supposed to have like more punishments and consequences. They're not supposed to be getting away with it. In my day in New York, I never shoplift, not once. We always pay for things. If it keeps it up, it might be hurting those businesses if they don't stop right now with the shoplifting. Now in Pennsylvania, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah. And now here's some things I got this week when I was from the thrift store and when I was in the bookstore when I was in Reading, Pennsylvania. Let's start with the VHS tapes I got from the thrift store. Let's start with one of the funniest movies of all time, Lampoon's Animal House, with John Belushi, Tim Matheson, John Vernon, Kevin Bacon, and Donald Sutherland, and don't forget, Stephen Force. And and Karen Allen, the one from Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark. And this is the 1988, early 88 reissue of National Lampoon's Animal House. I have the 1983 original first reissue. It came out in 1980. I'm a zit, get it? And this year, Animal House is going to be 45 years old. This is an 88 sticker label with the MC home video background in blue. This tape was printed on the 47th week of 1989. I'll be selling this one on eBay anyway. Do the Bluto, do the Bluto, do the Bluto. I have 3 McGee and Me VHS tapes. Let's start with Not So Great Escape. I think I have the other copy of it. This is going to be, this is the 1989 release of this, or 1990, from TCV. This tape looks like. I got this in the Salvation Army thrift store. It's pretty good. And here's another one like the McGee and Me, like Take Me Out to the Ball Game. This is episode 8. This is going to be released in 1990 or something. From TCV release. And the only thing that's missing is the activity programs that falls from these videos. There's the tag on it on the top of the crown. Yeah. I don't see a print date on it. I think Not So Great Escape. I think I showed you that on my other previous update videos. Here's a third McGee and Me is like In the Nick of Time, episode 10. This is going to be reissued in 1993 and 94. Show you what this tape looks like. This tape was printed around. This tape was printed on the 15th week of 2000. Yep, 2000 reprint. This is the 92 release. Yep. And I got some DVDs also. I got it from the thrift store. Let's start with Sideways. That's a comedy that has Paul Giamatti, Thomas Heaton Church. Yeah. Nominated for 5 Academy Awards for Best Picture and Best Director, the Best Comedy of the Year. This is released in 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment in 2005. And I do like Paul Giamatti, a good actor for the TV show Billions and Private Parts with Howard Stern as his boss. He always screams a lot, Paul Giamatti. It's a good movie. Here's something I got when I was in Barnes & Noble's bookstore. Disney's Darby O'Gill and the Little People with Albert Sharp, Janet Monroe, and Sean Connery. This is going to be a 2004 release. It's a pretty good Disney film, yep. This is going to be the letterbox. Just what this DVD looks like. I do like this Disney film, Darby O'Gill and the Little People, 1959. And here's an unrated version of ECW Volume 2 DVD set. Has like 3 DVDs. Maybe has the Shane Douglas versus Cass's hardcore stuff in there. Well, they used to do that during the mid-90s till 2000 they stopped doing it, till there's no more ECW. And this DVD release of this was released in 2013 from WF Home Video. And then here's another wrestling DVD, that is the history of the world's heavyweight champions, maybe with Hulk Hogan, Captain Lou Albano, George Animal Steels, and Roddy Piper. This is the thing to have like these old-time wrestlings. And this DVD release was in 2009 from WF Home Video. And in those days on VHS, they have it in Coliseum Home Video. There's disc 1. They have some of the programs on. They have some matches on this program from the past. This is pretty good. I love these old wrestling programs. And here's WF's ladder match from WF Home Video release from 2007. Boy, DVDs are actually getting mightier at the time. That comes with the program list. Boy, this is hardcore stuff. Some of these days I might have to collect these wrestling 80s tapes, like from Coliseum Home Videos. And they're pretty hard to find and pretty pricey right on eBay. And we do got some couple of golden books I got. Here's a rare golden book called Little Cottontail. That was released in 1960, made about 63 years ago. I like the illustrations of these golden books. And here's the train called TIBMBUCTOO. It was made in 1951. This is reissued in 1979 by the Golden Book. And I got some Holy Grail Peanuts books. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. That's one of the Charlie Brown special series that was released from Random House. It was released in 1974. Oh, good grief. I love the Peanuts. And here's another one. It's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown that was also released from Random House. It was released in 1976. Hardcover book. That's when Marcy was making the eggs wrong. When she was about to paint them, she was boiling them. That's a waste of Peppermint Patty's money. And here's the third one called It's a Mystery Charlie Brown. This is the 1974 special. This is released in 1975, the year after when the special was just released on TV. I'm trying to find a read-along book. I know my Peanut specials. And now I got a couple of these books also. I got it from the thrift store. Molly Moves to Sesame Street, a Sesame Street book club release. I think I have another copy of it somewhere. It was published in 1980. I love the Sesame Street characters. Didn't have Elmo made his debut till 84. I think it was 85. And here's a couple of Disney books I'll be putting on eBay. Fun to Read Library release of Pinocchio's Promise, the third volume of the series. And then here's another one. That is the fourth volume of Fun to Read Library release of Goofy's Big Race. Both of those books were from 1986. And here's something I got it from I was in the library the other day. That is A Stars of the Silver Screen, and I bought it for about $2. This is a hardcover book, and this was released this book was published in 1984 or 1982. Shows you the histories of when movies were pioneers in the old days, before they had technology. This is when they go through the silent era. And some best directors, yep. Here's like Ernst Lubitsch. I see a first film that Jeanette MacDonald did with Marie Chevalier in Well Parade, 1929. There's a picture of Claudette Colbert who's getting spanked with some actor. I don't know. Probably in this Ernst Lubitsch movie. Yep. And here's some old-time crime movies in the 30s, like The Fugitive from the Chain Gang, Flying Down to Rio with Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, and Gene Raymond, and Dolores Del Rio. There's this thing that comes with a bookmark. If you have any trouble like finding the pages, that's why they got some bookmarks. There's some pioneers of the movies, from the silence at the beginning of talkies. There's the Charlie Chaplin Martin Times. That was his last final silent movie that he had to make, because the talkies were just moving on. There's the Nazi Camera, the Nazis movies. Oh my God. There's one of the film series of the Charlie Chan and the Blondie movies of Arthur Lake and Penny Singleton, and there's like the Little Rascals when it was producer Hal Roach. There's the Tarzan movies. And there's the films of W.C. Fields. But my favorite is The Bank Dick and Never Give a Sucker for Eating Break. I don't care for my little chickadee, but I like You Can't Cheat an Honest Man with Edgar and Charlie. There's some actresses in the press forum. There's not Jeanette MacDonald or there's ain't Jane Harlow, that's for sure. No Greater Glory. That's going to be in the early 30s movie or something. Frank Capra's American Dream. It's the one who made It Happen One Night. It's a Wonderful Life and the Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Is it one of Utopia's a Bob Hope, Bing Crosby movie in there? It's like Lost of Horizon. The only road to Utopia I know is the Bob Hope movie from 1945. The fourth road movie with Bing Crosby. There's Gary Cooper when he did the westerns. That he did like the Marshal and High Noon in 1952. There's the movie that Gary Cooper did, Fountainhead. I rented that out recently when I was in the library. There's like the Patricia Neal and Raymond Massey. It's a pretty good, interesting book. And here's a bonus. Something also I got it from the Goodwill. I mean, when I was in Barnes and Nobles the other day, and here it is. The magazine of the 1980s, because I love the 1980s with VCRs, video games, popular movies. Yeah, that was when Ghostbusters was so popular in the 80s. Welcome to the 80s. Yep. This magazine's going to be printed around 2021. I just got this recently. There's a picture of the first blood known as the first Rambo. Here's when Back to the Future was made. They made a series of 3 films with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. There's a RoboCop. They made like RoboCop movies since this one was followed in 1987. The First Blood is like the first Rambo. They did like the Rambo movies. Even around the 80s, they even had the Rambo cartoon show I used to have on VHS. Oh boy, Gremlins, 1984. Gizmo and Billy stay away from the water, never get wet, and stay away from sunlight, and most important, never feed them after midnight. They made 2 Gremlins movies. And here's some, one of the moments of the 80s. Little Shop of Horrors, Rick Moranis, Dirty Dancing with Patrick Swayze, Footloose with Kevin Bacon, Raging Bull, the best movie of the 80s, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figurines, that's when they made the cartoon show, Scarface Albertino, the remake of the Paul Muni original back in the 30s, and I see Robert De Niro as Rupert Pumpkin in The King of Comedy with Jerry Lewis. There's like the Indiana Jones movies like The Temple of Doom, and a Fish Cole Wilmer with Kevin Kline, John Cleese, and Jamie Lee Curtis. There's a picture of The Lost Boys. That's one of my favorite 80s horror movies with the vampire. The Love Illusionist with Al Pacino when he was 45 years old. There's a good movie called Istria with Dustin Hartman and Morton Bailey. It's not that great as the Road to Morocco. It was like a remake of Road to Morocco. This book is really interesting about the 80s. Because 80s is in my alley with Betamax and VHS tapes and Laserdisc. Even Saturday morning cartoons, popular movies, Happy Meals, everything. So that's everything about today's update for January 10, 2023. I'll see you again next time and I'll give you more updates. Until then, this is your cameraman, James Rusty, telling you, try to comment, subscribe, or ring the bell. If you like any of those, if you like this video, you just take care. I'll see you next time. Have a good night. Bye.